We'll be beginning in 5 minutes from now, 3 minutes to be precise. Until then, everyone, just check your webcams, network connections. Hearty welcome, everyone. I'm P. Shravan Kumar, the founder of SK Associates and Group, and your host for today's conference 1.8 on impact of market research in growth of startups.
And I'm Aditi Jain, the Chief Strategic Alliance Advisor of SK Associates and Group, and I'm Shravan's co-host for Conference 1.8 on impact of market research and growth of startups.
SK Associates and Group is an internationally accredited ISO certified management consulting firm registered under MSMED Act 2006 with the Government of India. We provide consulting services in the domains of compliance, operations, marketing, research and development, human capital, strategy and operations to budding student entrepreneurs across the world. SK Associates Group was formed with a dream to provide consulting services to aspiring student entrepreneurs and help them in developing the national economy by establishing their dream firms across various industries. Visit our website at www.skangroup.com to know more.
We work with startups and train potential student entrepreneurs who are aiming to bring a significant change either in their business model, in scale of operations, or both. To succeed in this endeavor, our clients need a specific type of consultant, someone who is a problem solver. Typically, such a person is entrepreneurial and passionate, thinks out of the box, has an idea where the problem lies, how to analyze it, and most importantly, what would serve as a perfect solution for it. Such people have lived and worked in different continents and countries. They have worked on exciting projects, they have taken risks, and have scars to show for it. We call such people transformational consultants. We have worked over the last 3 years to build a network of such people, reaching out to them across universities, across industries, and across the gamut of functional roles. Time and again, we have seen magic happen when we find the perfect solution for our clients. And this is what drives us and keeps us motivated each day. We are passionate and excited about the impact such individuals can have in building the next generation of iconic organizations in the corporate sector. Visit our website at www.skngroup.com to know more.
With our overall strength of 5,000 associates from across 15 different countries, we aim to impact 60,000 students across the world by 2030 by providing them with consulting services in strategy and operations, human capital, compliance, legal advisory, R&D, taxation, marketing, and help them in establishing their ventures by investing 20 crores US dollars in their startups over the next 5 years. We also aim to provide 50,000 employment opportunities to various lecturers across the nation in the upcoming 10 years.
Collaborations shall help us achieve our vision in working for the cause of global economic growth. Our executive management and alliance teams are always dedicated on working towards entrepreneurship development and community impact with a concentration on the point. Students are the upcoming future generations of our nation and need to be empowered for global economic growth. We aim to partner with 1,000 universities and colleges by 2030 to empower, educate, and advise students on various aspects of entrepreneurship and mentor them to build their startup successfully. Visit our website to know more about us www.skngroup.com.
As we enter 2023, we are consistently seeing the increasing focus and enthusiasm among students towards entrepreneurship. Now, this is a significant change towards a progressive community of professionals and entrepreneurs since a startup means an innovative business model which can impact the community and can also help resolve an existing problem. Thus, the more we encourage sustainable startups to bloom in our world, the more efforts we are making towards a better future free of the problems we face today. Entrepreneurs and global business leaders are the future of our world as they attempt to resolve issues via the innovative solution and commercialize the same solutions later at a feasible market value. This obviously helps in creating employment opportunities, helps in facilitating sustainable economic growth rates, helps in creating innovative products and services, and also helps in attending to consumer needs appropriately. And this even creates business opportunities for relevant businesses. From global warming to climate change, from natural disasters to water recycling, from biodegradable fossil fuels generation to rainwater harvesting, from creating online schools to universities. Multiple inventors and creative businesses geniuses have already emerged as entrepreneurs successfully.
Exactly, Shravan. Even throughout my career as a such as life projects and internships, and they might find it difficult to access, educate knowledge, and experience on the same. Thus, in answer to all such questions of budding students who wish to emerge as entrepreneurs by building their B plans on the basis of in-depth analysis and survey reports on industry trends, competitors, and innovations, we have organized Conference 1.8 on impact of market research and growth of startups. We hope our conference series helps such potential students create an impact in the community and resolve emerging problems via their innovation mindset and business models. Now, we would like to introduce all our honorable guests for today.
Businesses producing the local branding while continuing to work parallelly on two jobs.
Our next guest is Mr. Uday Dholakia, who is a management consultant, certified leadership coach, chief mentor, and a keynote speaker with more than 30 years of diverse industry experience and deep knowledge of different demographics. Uday Dholakia is the founder and director of Paddarshak Management Consulting based in Ahmedabad and Catering Pan India. He is actively engaged in enabling organizations toward transformation and scale up. Uday is also at visiting faculty at leading B schools of Ahmedabad, helping students to excel in their management careers.
We are also glad to have Professor Dr. Prateek Ranjan Mungekar, a scientist, professor, counselor, global educator, published author, and an international speaker. He is the first Indian to be appointed as the Planetary Minister of Sustainable Development of newly emerging the Kingdom of Atlantis, a decentralized sovereign kingdom. He is also the first youngest Indian whose book on Introduction to Sustainable Development Goals, non-academic, is now part of the Atlantean Education Program. Dr. Mungekar is the first youngest Indian to achieve 300 plus honorary doctorates from all over the world and the first youngest Indian professor who taught more than 8,000 plus students and guided 4,000 plus students till date. And the count is still on. He is the first Indian who has 850 plus national, international, and state awards from 6 national patents, 15 world records at the age of 28 for his contribution in the field of teaching and research. Prateek is the first youngest Indian to receive 125 plus honorary high degrees across the globe. Dr. Mungekar is the first Indian to be appointed by 45 plus international organizations on various high positions at the same time. He is the first youngest Indian to be appointed as an ambassador by 46 organizations of many countries in almost all disciplines and the youngest professors who start teaching at the age of 16. Prateek is the first youngest Indian to receive the royal and prestigious titles such as Lecturus Magnificus, HRH, Phi Duke, along with Mandeville's Fellowship, United Kingdom's highest academic honor. Dr. Mungekar is the first Indian to receive the distinguished title of Professor Wisdom from Institution Cultural Colombian, Casa Patricia, Magia Plumas, Colombia, South America.
We are also have as an aspiring leader Mr. Naman Serene, who is an assistant professor in marketing at Jindal Global Business School, OP Jindal Global Institution of Eminence deemed to be university. He has also taught as an assistant professor at the Indian Institute of Management Rohtak. He has corporate experience of about 2 years as an area sales manager and business consultant. Mr. Naman completed his PhD from the Indian Institute of Management Shillong, IIM Shillong, and a Master of Business Administration from Great Lakes Institute of Management, Chennai. His research interest includes green marketing, travel and tourism, and ethical consumerism. He has contributed many research articles in international journals listed in ABDC, ABS, Scopus, and ESCI.
Now, we would like to request all the guests and attendees to again kindly switch on your respective webcams throughout the conference. We would also like to inform all of you that the HR team will be consistently conducting polls in the comment box throughout the session. Kindly participate in them actively. Further, I would like to thank all the executive management team, including Ms. Aditi Jain, Mr. Digvijay Pawar, Ms. Vaishali Shri, and Advocate 2021 last year till date, the dedicated and immeasurable contributions to the firm in terms of
And now we would like to invite Miss Olivera, marketing manager at Scholarship Owl, to enlighten us with her insights on marketing.
Thank you so much for such a lovely introduction. It's still a daytime here in Serbia, around 3 p.m., and sun is still shining, while in India it's the evening time. I was so scared that I will miss the times. And generally speaking, being a student isn't that easy at all. That's their stress of passing exams, plus never having enough money. Oh, I remember I was really jealous of those students whose rich parents send them money every month. But I had to work 3 jobs just to pay my rent and to get things done. And all those 3 jobs were really typical student jobs, behind a bar or in a shopping mall, in a store. And to be honest, looking back now, I wouldn't change a thing. All these low-paid jobs made me a better person and gave me an insight of what the real life is out there, and taught me how to be independent. Plus, I gained a bunch of new skills. So I got my first huge lesson there. When you work hard to get your degree, meaning like part-time job, studying, plus sacrifices you have to make, you tend to remember it later on in life and respect it, and you are proud of it. And later on in life, it gave me confidence to ask for a raise, to ask for a better position within the company. So getting that degree you're now working on is definitely important, and it boosted my confidence in general. The second thing I wish somebody had told me 10 years ago is that almost nothing I do now as an email marketing manager in this digital company, I haven't learned from the books back then. How funny is that? nor from the MBA degree I struggled to get, because only 10 years ago, we didn't know much about affiliates, PPC, SEO, etc. All the things I'm doing now every day. Now, books are written, and as the time is passing by, who knows how many new things will arrive. So pace yourself. Once you get that degree, your learning actually starts. Stay curious and grow. Invest at least 20% of your future work time in constant learning new things. Just to stay tuned, otherwise you won't be competent in your field. And that goes for not only economics, but for medical studies, biology, you name it. So always keep learning and improving yourself. Next thing I want to talk about is huge. It's find your passion. And once you do, you will never work a day in your life. I'm telling you, this is the hardest job, and don't rush yourself. Once you find your passion, things will get easier. You will get smarter decisions. Just believe in yourself. Sometimes your passion will last for a few years or even 5 or more. That's okay. And then you look for elsewhere. But just keep looking. Stay curious. Also, times pass by when people work. It's like a different generation now. Nobody works like and stays at one job anymore till the rest of their life. It's normal to change your career path in 10 years as well, and explore and start totally another new dimension, basically. And don't be scared if you don't know immediately what you want in life, what you're passionate about. That's okay. Then work for someone else. Get the experience. Save money. At least, I would say 50% of your salary, save. And learn some tips from other businesses. And simply, I love saying this quotation, people who don't have their own dreams work for others to make theirs come true. And I somehow believe you want to make your own dreams come true, and that's why you're here today. And also, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Trust me, there will be a lot of them. And all these mistakes are part of your journey, and that makes you unique, your CV unique, all the choices you make. True entrepreneurs have the ability to learn from failure. So this is really important, ability to learn from failure. So don't be scared of making wrong steps, mistakes. There are no wrong steps, basically. Another thing I wanted to talk about is be careful who you take advice from. Always look at the person across you who is giving you advice. Who are they? And do you want to be like them? For example, my great friend started 3 businesses and 2 of them failed. And the third one was also struggling. And that same friend starts giving me advice about my own startup. And well, sorry, I don't want to be like you. So I will be careful which words to let in my head. And also great example are the parents. Always knowing what's the best thing you should do in your career, at your next job. Even though they have good intentions, my parents are not successful in my eyes. So I won't listen to them because I don't want to end up like them. Same goes for, let's say, a divorced friend who is giving you love advice, right? So listen to successful people that you would like to be similar with. Maybe some billionaires or simply just some happy people, and define success for yourself. That's really important. 10 years ago, I thought success for me was having a lot of money. And let's say now, when I have the money, I look for totally different things that I consider success, such as freedom of time, of choices, respect, good, healthy environment. So priorities change. And simply, it's not all about the money as I thought maybe 10 years ago it was. Another thing I want to talk about is motivation. A few years ago, I decided I want to invest time and energy in my own business, which is producing alcoholic beverages such as gin or like a local domestic brandy. I think I have a glass, 1 bottle here. So basically, a lot of young people in my country, in Serbia, they drink gin tonic. And they loved my family's homemade brand, and it started kind of spontaneously to develop. But the trick is you need to have money, not only a goodwill. You need to expand, to develop it, to invest in it. So that's the reason why I now have 2 jobs. I work at one place to earn money to invest in my own story. When you are at the very beginning, it's hard. Why? Because you want to do everything alone to save money, basically. And working alone sucks. Working alone is boring, first of all. Plus, it's a hard work. You probably need to pay 3 people, but in order to save, you do it yourself. You're like a one-man show. You're producing it, packing it, distributing it, answering the phone, doing the marketing. And then I finally realized that I need people. I need other people, and we all need support as human beings, and you need help. So it's completely okay to ask for it. And sometimes you come across obstacles and you get stuck. And if you want to be a successful entrepreneur, you need to be able to motivate yourself and others around you when it's hard. And when you come across obstacles, if you don't have that ability, I simply suggest you train yourself. It's crucial. It's really crucial. I believe I have kind of come to the end of my presentation, but somehow I feel like I would like to share with you even more. If somebody is interested in importing my beverages, you can contact me on LinkedIn, and we can maybe collaborate, but we will see. Also, like a final thing I forgot to say is basically the hard things never become easier. You just get better at them. I wish you to be brave and to find and follow your passion. And that's all. Thank you.
That was a great speech, Olivera. However, I had some questions to ask to you. My first question here is, since you have been an email marketing manager for Scholarship Out, so what aspects of a client do you think are important for any marketing professional to research on before pitching them?
Knowing your market depends how you approach the market. Which market are you approaching? Domestic, international? So there are all these details. You have to have a strategy. Without a strategy, you're just flying in the wind like a leaf, basically. So detailed strategy, organization, researching, investigating, and getting the answer before you start. So a very good preparation and strategical steps. And many times we think, yeah, it's easy, it will be short time, and we can just simply start rolling. But sometimes a detailed research is crucial. Knowing what you're doing, how you're doing it, implementation, everything is important. Knowing your needs on the market, all that.
Olivera, as when we go to research about the client base, especially for startups, for instance, let's consider an edtech startup is like considering the data of 1,000 students. So, what do you believe that primary research data here would be more feasible for a marketing professional to consider while like, beginning to pitch clients, or would secondary reports be more feasible?
I believe all the research you can gather is important. Both of them are important. I wouldn't say, depends which market you're approaching, which data is more easier to get. What can you get faster? Sometimes research takes also a long time. Depends on your goal. Like if I want to research too long for my product implementation on the market, I can spend a year. I can write a PhD on the behavioral of customers' needs in Serbia, but what is my focus? What is my goal? Too much research sometimes is also not so good. Like everything should be balanced. Everything, like being brave to jump into that water is also crucial, but background research as well. Anything you can get is good, but not focusing a lot of energy, even this direction or that direction, just the balance. Okay, this is my research, I'm researching for 1 month, then I'm jumping in. But I'm doing the detailed research.
Whenever like a firm or a startups especially try to launch a product, they do conduct a consumer insights or a consumer trend survey. So do you think that this consumer like trend survey reports are feasible for a period of like after 3 months, or what would be the general period in which like the research data could be used for pitching or for sales, initiation of sales?
Time is money and money is time. And altogether, like if you are putting something in a research of 3 months, that means 3 months you get lost in profits and in like you have to pay people to do research, or your time is also valuable. So I will shorten that for at least a period of 1 month, 1 month and a half. So 1/4 of the year, I think it's a little bit too much. It is necessary to do detailed research, but everything can be fit and focused in 1 month, not more than that.
That's the point. Olivera, since you are an email marketing manager and email marketing is one of the most like popularly used marketing methods, I would like to ask you to rate, like give a percentage of conversion that you usually have in your field for clients via the email marketing method, obviously.
Mm-hmm. So the email industry I am currently a part of is education. Our open rates are between 30 and 50%, which is very high. Conversion rates are also between 20 to 40%, and click-through rate is around 5 to 15%. So it depends really on a case and on the topic we're doing. But it's going very well. In the last 5 years, we're growing. 5 years ago, we simply had maybe a few percent open rate, but then we grew up to the 50%. So that's a really huge success. In the email marketing, things are changing rapidly, and you have to stay tuned. You always have to be focused on learning new things. So that's a must. And also, I guess, in other fields as well. But digital area is transforming so quickly that in next 10 years, I really simply don't know what new things will await for us. So,
as we have come to talk of the digital era, Olivera, do you think that like in the past 5 to 10 years, when the email marketing trend started rolling out, that is something around in the year 2001, from that time, from the .com boom till today, email marketing has stayed quite popular. So do you think that any other method of marketing could like take over email marketing in the upcoming years? Maybe click per rate, maybe
yes,
digital ads.
maybe. And you are right. Things are moving and progressing, and around in that year, we only had, in 2000s, we only had maybe Facebook. Look at all the platforms now you have. Instagram, TikTok, like they're growing like mushrooms all around, like they're just popping up. So I wouldn't be surprised if a totally new method comes and strikes and, starts giving better results than email marketing. And also depends on the generation. Like the new generation now prefers messaging, SMS messaging. So we're approaching to that new stage of life. So I think maybe email marketing will be killed, will die soon, and then maybe SMS messaging will be the new future in this digital world. Because most of the students, let's say in America, they're lazy to open the email. But text messages, this is like almost like Instagram that's popping up on your phone, and everybody has, even me, my phone just here nearby. So getting a text message is, I think, the future.
That was a great session, Olivera. Now I would like to invite all the attendees to put forward their questions, if any. Anyone? You have any question? Yeah, Prerna, we can begin with you.
My greetings to you, Olivera. It's really great to have you here. So, my question is that I really want to just like we were talking about startups. So, my question is that according to you, like we know that a lot of startups are emerging, but we also know that a lot of them are failing as well. So, there is a certain reason that is behind. They are not able to achieve in their break-even point, even span of period. So, even from London or India, I want to know your point of view that which startup you think that has gained a very smooth rise since it has started the investment, or anything that you think that has done best, and the most very vulnerable thing about the investment or the marketing strategies or the startup, that vulnerable section that can actually drove them down.
So when it comes to failure, I think it's very, very kind of personal thing. It's how much energy and efforts you put into something, and how much, as we talked about, research you're doing. So when I'm thinking about the failure, like simply my product, I constantly put effort. I constantly give promotions. I constantly give giveaways, create things. And if my mindset drops down, that means I will get a failure. If there is not somebody to put me up, or my workers, or to constantly work on it. So to answer your question, I think a new technological invention, a great new thing is Chart GPT. If you heard about it, everybody's talking about it. So that's like a great example of a success, even though Google is kind of a competitor to them, but they are innovative, they are researching, they are developing, they are upgrading, all the developers are talking about it. So they simply are in the minds of people. ChatGPT. So it's like simply it's happening. The future is coming. So being innovative, even though there is a competition, like Google is definitely a competition there, but they are becoming better, and they're being talked
like
about.
anything.
Yeah. So being a leader will never like cause you a failure. Putting a lot of effort as well.
Okay.
That was great,
Thank
Olivia.
you. Thank you.
If anyone else has any questions, yeah. Shivji, please.
A very good evening, ma'am, to the CEO and all the other people who are present here. First of all, thank you so much, ma'am. And yes, I have a question on today's topic, as you have covered some marketing aspects. And I also have a question that while we target some audience or while we uh, uh, convey our message to a certain group or community of people, so is it good to target the same audience again and again, or is it always a better choice to target more people for the same thing? That's my question.
Wow. Wow, that's something like I'm doing every day. Thank you for this question. So basically, that question comes to my mind on every day, and I do target the same people, but you have to be sometimes in the shoes of your consumers, and to think, would they like this? Would they like to hear this information? And some people do want to hear it. It's a reminder. It's all about how you say it and how you target them and how you approach them and drive that traffic, basically. So it's all about testing. This is something simply I learned through years, that there is no book that will tell you what to do, how to do it. You simply need to test things on your own terms. So basically, like by the book, it will say like, oh, statistically this will be wrong, but maybe in your case, in your target audience, it will show different results. Every day I do testing, A/B testing in email marketing. I put like this text with this image, with this, I don't know, call to action, and then I put a totally different copy. And then I see and compare, okay, people react more to this. Marketing is something I learned should not be based on opinion of anyone, but on the reaction of your own audience. So you're not there to give opinion. You're there to test. You're there to test and see the reaction of your audience. Well, I like pink, but maybe like male students in America don't like pink, right? So basically my opinion doesn't matter. It matters what they like. So testing, getting results, measuring results. That's all I do. That's my job. I don't want to have it.
Yeah, and what's your view and thought process upon the automation of the marketing that's currently, as you have also talked about ChatGPT, and Google is also going to work upon BART AI, and other companies are also working upon that. So what's your view? What's the future scope of automation of marketing and like this?
It makes me scared, to be honest. It's simply, I feel like all of us are going to lose our jobs. I mean, like, simply, the new technology will definitely reduce work of many of us. So, and that's constantly happening, you know, like when we got computers like 30, 40 years ago, like a lot of people lost their jobs. And it's going continuously through centuries as we as a nation develop. Job markets changes. So I think many things should be automated, and we should completely focus on other things. I don't want to sit on a computer and do the testing and do this and that when the computer can do it. So I do support and change. I think it's the future. I cannot run away. If I am against it, then the time will slap me, I will draw, and I won't be swimming on the surface, right? I will be, it doesn't make sense, right? I have to accept the new time and to adjust to it.
That's actually quite great, Olivera. We would like to thank Ms. Olivera Casanova for her interactive speech, which enthralled the hearts of all our audiences. Now, I would like to request her to kindly share her email ID in the chat box so that if anyone has any further queries, they can connect with you at any time.
Sure.
Moving ahead, we would like to invite Mr. Uday Dholakia, Managing Director of Paddarshak Management Consulting, to share his insights.
Okay, so good evening, one and all present on the call right now, and those who are seeing this live on a different platform. It was mesmerizing to listen, Olivera. Thanks for sharing the insights, and a lot of things I learned from this conversation also. While I have a presentation with me, so if that is allowed, I would like to share my screen quickly. That will in fact reduce my burden also. And please excuse me, I'm not going for the prototype introduction because probably that will eat up a lot of time and people may get bored. So I'm sure they will have a lot of understanding and knowing me while my presentation is on. So give me a second, I'll just try and see how can I share my screen.
Okay.
So somebody has to tell me whether my screen is visible to you or not.
It is visible, clearly.
It's visible, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, can you see the presentation?
Yeah, we can.
Full screen?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, thank you. So, colleagues, friends, I have a story to start here. And, there was a very happening businessman. And obviously, this businessman was a very successful one. So once he was traveling through a village, and suddenly he spot villagers, and all these villagers were bare feet. They were not wearing shoes. And of course, so because he is a businessman, he quickly got a brilliant idea in the mind. He said that, why can't I manufacture shoes? Let's try and mint a lot of money because this village has a lot of potential. So he came back to his hometown, talked to a couple of friends and relatives and bounced off the idea of manufacturing the shoes and selling it off to the villages. So everybody said, oh, that's a good idea and it's a lot of potential. Since everybody is barefoot, there's an immense market. In fact, it's virgin market and you will make a lot of money. And it's easy also because there is no competition. So with this pump up motivation, this businessman started manufacturing shoes. And of course, he has to hire a salesperson also. So he hired a salesman and he sent the salesman with a bunch of shoes to sell the village. And within optimism, and he was awaiting that when the salesman will come back, he would be very excited and he will share a good sales numbers and the revenue. So the salesman went on in the village and he miserably failed to sell the shoes. He was amazed because though they were bare feet, some of the people were not ready to buy shoes. Some of them have had apprehensions that why shoes, and there were many others who were just reluctant because others are not doing, why should we do it? And then there were a few who just tried, in our marketing language, we say initial, the starters, the early starters. So some of them did bought the shoes, but net, the salesman failed. He came back and he shared the whole experience of how he failed selling the shoes. The businessman was really, really concerned. He said, how come it's possible when everybody is bare feet? The shoes is a necessity, it is a need. And when we know when there is a need in the market, you bring a product, it will be immediately consumed. That's a traditional thought process. So, and that, of course, that's right also. So he said, how can we fail? So he went back to his friends. So some of his friends were wise enough, and they said that why don't you hire a consultant, experts, and just try and understand what went wrong. So this guy, the businessman, he called upon some smart management grads from different B schools and some of the consultants, and they went on in offsite location, a very exotic location. They spent one full day, just doing a brainstorming. That why a businessman or why the salesman failed to increase the sales number. At the end, they concluded their brainstorming, and they asked questions to the businessman. And look, the questions. They said, we can help you increase the sales numbers, provided for. They said, do you know who all are you targeting in that village? At least you should know that who is going to consume, who is going to wear my shoes. And then why shoes? You should also have something else in mind. Then the second question, they said, do you have exact gender bifurcation? How many men, how many women, how many boys, how many girls, young boys, young girls, toddlers. The third question, they bounced off. They said that, do you have the data about the choices of colors, quality, and other stuff that they are looking for? And the fourth, very interesting question, they said, do you know the weather condition of that village? There must be some reason why everybody is bare feet, why everybody is not wearing shoes. Have you got any data? The businessman was puzzled. He said, sorry, I don't have it. So these people then said, so Mr. Businessman, here is a need of market research. Friends, ladies and gentlemen on the call, let me now tell you that market research, as we are now talking about, is the first most critical step for any new business or a startup, as we say, to begin with. As we unveil these slides, and I will talk about in a very, very crisp manner, because this is a subject where we can actually spend one full day talking about the market research only. But since we have paucity of time, I'll just try and zip my thoughts and put it in front of you. And I would request the note. So once I complete my presentation, we may definitely, I'll try and address all these questions, and I'll give my best possible answers. So here is this go. So let's understand, friends, and I'm sure I know all the audience out here are intelligent boys and girls from different backgrounds and different colleges, and my co-host, my co-facilitators, my guests are also equally intelligent. So I'll assume that couple of terminology and other things you already know. So let me go forward. So before we actually think of market research, we must actually think of what market research. We know that it is important. By now, with the story of that shoemaker, we realize that it is important. But what is to be market research? There are a plethora of things that one need to go and do research. And as Olivier rightly said, that if you stuck to a lot of research, then also there is a problem. So you need to kind of balance what is to be researched, what is to be omitted. And why it is important? We all know, because if I have a strong database, I'll be in a better position to take right decision for my products and services. At least you should have a very clear objective about what is to be market researched. Because everything, now if you go and you talk to market research agencies, professionals out there, they have 10 things or 15 things to offer to a startup. But does that really need it for your business? Does you really need that? You really need to precisely draw crystallize what is your objective of market research. That will set a right tone, that will help you to identify a right market research agency. There are different agencies. So for example, if you are a food startup, there are 10 top agencies who are exclusively operating into food market research segment. Now, if you are let's say something else, not a food, but into a service or into hotel or into kind of a payment gateways, there are different marketing agencies who can offer you their services. So first, zero down what is your objective, why do you want to do a market research. That's very, very important. And I have a point to share here. While the agencies and the people who are professional, seasoned players who do market research will definitely guide you, but you as a startup, if you are thinking of having a startup from today or from 2 years down the line, please remember everything else is based on SSTH. Remember, these are 5 basic senses that drive human choices: smell, sight, touch, taste, and hearing. If you as a businessman, if you as a marketeer take care in your marketing campaign, in your research activity, if you take care of these 5 senses, which actually encompasses the overall experience, it will help you to figure it out what exactly drive the consumer and how best the decision making can happen. So I'll give an example. I had an opportunity to extend my consulting service to one of the fragrance manufacturer here in Gujarat, and they wanted to till now they were into only manufacturing and they were selling B2B. Now they are expanding and they want to create their own brands, and they want to have an online presence and all. So they consulted me and I said, okay, fine. So let's do step by step, piece by piece. I said, how many fragrance you have? So they said, we have 150 fragrances. Okay, so how many brands you want to convert? And so on and so forth. There were a lot of questions and answers, discussions went on. And one last question I asked, I said, where do you want to sell your product? So they were very conveniently said, we are selling it on an online platform. It's like Amazon, Flipkart, and few other platforms. We want to project our brands. I said, that's very good. But do you know how many people really gonna buy from Amazon the fragrance? Do you have crystal clear data about rose fragrance moves very fast, or an international perfume fragrance goes very fast? Do you have a data that the young generation from 18 to 25, which fragrance they would prefer? Do you know the occasion-based fragrance is the in thing in the market right now? They were zero. They had no idea. So they went on. They went to a research agency. They did a market research, and the market research gave a different idea. So friends, what I'm trying to convey here is that since the experience makes a difference. So somebody can smell it, somebody would see and buy it, somebody would touch and buy, somebody would create a feel by tasting the product. So if you are into food category, somebody would like to taste it. So if you are into electronics and other instruments, somebody would like to really hear and see, and you need to know what kind of let's say you want to start manufacturing of an earpods. Do you know what sound intensity, what generational preferences, what boys are preferring, what girls are preferring, what the old people preferring, what sounds they are really want, how much convenient it is to fix up in the ear? Everything is an experience, man, and we need a data for that before really going in the market. So therefore I am saying SSTH is the foundation of any of the product or services which you want to bring in the market. So keep this thing in the brain. If not today, tomorrow when you become an entrepreneur, please keep in mind every consumer is fundamentally driven by SSTH experience, and that experience will lead them whether to click your product, to order, to put it into cart, or to close the sales. Everything else depends on that. Right? So now let me move one more slides and take you through this. So there are types of market research. Because we have a limited time, and I just wanted to give you a gist of it. I'm saying there are three very important things that comes top of the research categories in the market. The first is a brand research. There is a radio FM brand in Gujarat. Of course, there is a competition in FM radio, and I'm sure we keep hearing when we are driving in our four-wheeler or a car, and even if we are at home, we keep hearing radios and FMs and all, right? But does not necessarily we stick to one particular channel. Always, we don't. We keep shuffling, because fundamentally, somebody is looking for the favorite song, somebody is looking for the favorite RJ to listen, somebody is looking for something else. And therefore, the shuffling, the switching of a radio FM channel is too fast and too frequent. So again, there is a case study in the market research that which FM has a stickiness. So there is a research. The company, they engaged a consultant like us, they engaged a market research agency, and they said that we want to know that population of Ahmedabad, Vadodara, Surat and Rajkot are four major towns in Gujarat. So they said that we want to engage and we want to know that what exactly people are looking for first when they switch on their FM, what they want. And then they went on. And then they realized that their brand stands number 3. All their efforts, all their marketing revenue, their advertising cost and budgets and everything was put in with a very heavy stake. They were still number 3 and not in first 2 slots. So that's what brand research is all about. They really understand where they are going wrong. The second market research, normally people quite often do, and as Olivia said that she always compare, which template of email marketing is working, which is not working, which color theme, which call to action is engaging the audience, which is not. So that is called evaluating marketing campaign. So if somebody is doing a campaign on a LinkedIn, somebody is doing campaign on Facebook, somebody is doing campaign on a radio, every time you need to have an evaluation. Now, obviously, because you are a businessman, you are an entrepreneur, you might need a professional and experts who will do this job for you. They will give you a data that your LinkedIn marketing campaign is working this fair, the call to action ratio is this, lead conversion is this, the funnel conversion is this. Similarly for the radio advertisement, similarly for the newspaper advertisement campaign. So you really need to have a market research also for evaluating the marketing campaign that you are doing. So I'll take a 10-second pause and let me tell you here that I am not saying that everything is mandatory. Please don't get me wrong by saying not everything is mandatory. Pick and choose. So if you are into first 3 years of your startup, you don't need a brand research, market research, because you are brand in making. You are not an established brand, okay? You are in brand in making, but you really need a customer segment, because where you are pitching into village, you are pitching into B2 area, you are pitching into a city which has a population more than 50 lakhs. Where exactly your product and services are. And for an example, we all know there's a company called Just Dial, right? Now, it's fair to take their name because they are among that category, they are the leaders. So, sometime when you interact with these people, they will tell you, even within the city. So, for example, if you are in Hyderabad and you want to advertise your brand or your product or your service, they will offer you area-wise promotional plan. Now, you must have a clear-cut data that Hyderabad in X area, I have this many people whom I can target. Sikandrabad is a parallel city. I have this many
Excuse me,
audience I
Mr.
can target?
Dholekia. Sorry for intervention. Actually, we are at 8 p.m. A bit of
Oh,
constraints.
I'll just quickly wind up.
Yes.
There's only one slide left. Yeah. So one point is brand research, marketing campaign evaluation, customer research, a lot of other things that we can be doing. And why market research? We already have spoken at length. It quickly, I'll tell you that it helps you to take a right decision. It will save your cost. It will reduce the risk of incurring loss, and it will increase the effectiveness of your investments and the resources that you employ for expanding and growing your business. So that's about market research. Finally, I would conclude my talk saying that success happens to those who work for it. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. This is Uday Dolakia signing off, and I'll minimize my screen. There are my social handles, and you can always come back. We can always get connected. Fundamentally, I believe in making relationships. So today we are interacting. We are building a relationship. Thank you so much.
We would like to thank Mr. Uday for his informative speech and knowledgeable speech, and I request him to share his mail in the comment box for any queries our attendees might have.
Sure.
Now, thank you. Now, further moving ahead, I would like to invite Dr. Naman Sareen, Assistant Professor at Jindal Global University, to commence his speech.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for inviting me for this program. So all of us, can you hear me? I'm audible perfectly? Okay, that's great. So we have been talking about the practical side of the startups and entrepreneurship. What I will talk about is more about the theoretical side of it, because I am a professor at the end of the day, so I'm more into the theoretical side of the things, right? So I will just share my slide, if that's okay. All right. So can you see my slide? Great. So what I'm going to talk about today is a topic known as lean startups. Before talking about lean startups, can anyone just tell me which product this is? Look, a lot of celebrities were promoting this product, and a lot of magazines also told that this product would be a hit. A lot of research done on this product also indicated that consumers would buy it like crazy. But this product, Google Glass, which was launched in 2012, but now we don't see it anywhere, right? So what happened to Google Glass? When we talk about Google Glass, it was loaded with features. It had features such as, if you wear a Google Glass, you can actually navigate. It will tell you where to go. It had word lens. Word lens would change any language in the world into English. So you can understand any language anywhere you're traveling. It also had a platform, a social networking platform called Refresh, where people can connect with other people who had Google Glass. But when the product was launched into the market, after doing research, of course, with lauded features, it did not do well. One of the reasons were that when it was launched into the market, no one knew about the uncertainties in the market. And uncertainties such as people were using Google Glass for knowing the pins, ATM pins of other people, right? And people were using Google Glass for actually just putting on the video and just downloading private moments of other people. So all of these things, furthermore, did not allow Google Glass to grow, right? So there are always uncertainties in the market, even if initially the research shows that you are a very innovative product, you will do great in the market, there's a huge buzz about you, celebrities are promoting your product, but still the product failed, right? So you can see in 2020, February 25th, finally, Google Glass and Google said that they are finishing this product and it will not be linked with the Google account anymore. So why this happened, and one of the major reasons this happened is most of the businesses, especially when we're talking about startups, I also, when I finished my PhD, I joined a startup, and it closed after a few years. In India, if we talk about figures, in around 5 years, 70% of the startups close, right? So, and one of the major problems which I feel, and what I've seen working and also talking to people who are in entrepreneurship, what is they always follow the traditional business plan. The traditional business plan is having a 5-year forecast of how much you're going to earn with the product. So you load your product with all the features, all the technicalities, and you launch your product to the market. What happens? Sometimes there are things that are unknown, uncertain, like it happened with Google Glass, and your product is failed. And when that amount of money is invested in your product, it's not easy to go back into that path, right? Or even launch new product, because all your earnings were already put into a product in which you strongly believed in. Uh, so, is there a way through which we can deal with such problems? And here, the way in theory comes, which is called as lean startup model. Lean startup model has several steps. Step number 1 is to develop a business model canvas. Business model canvas would provide you a complete image regarding your business, right? So everything about your business. So it will clear your mind as well what exactly your business is. If you look into this business model canvas, there's various factors in this business model canvas. One being the key partners. When I'm talking about key partners, it means the people associated with your company. These people could be your employees, could be other stakeholders. Key activities. What are the day-to-day activities that your firm does that helps to generate revenue for the firm? So, for example, if when I was working for the startup, the key activities of that startup was to generate leads, to give demo of the product to the clients, and then finally convert those leads into customers, right? So those are the key activities of the business. Key resources would be the machines that convert, that make your final product, and even the ERP solutions, right? So enterprise resource planning solutions in your firm that is able to manage everything. So all of those things are your key resources. Value propositions, what unique you have. Why would people buy your product instead of any other product? Customer relationships, how do you build your customer relationships? Are you really good in providing great service to the customer, or your customer usually buy your product when you give discounts? How you retain your customers, how you build your customers. Channels, how you reach your customers, right? Your distribution network. Retail, through retail you reach, through online you reach, or you have the combination of both. Customer segments, who are your customers? On the basis of demographics like age, income, gender, on the basis of psychographics like attitudes, values, on the basis of behavior, who buys frequently, who does not buy frequently. You can actually make consumer segments and see who are those. Then there's cost structure, where your money is going away from you, and revenue streams, where your money is coming in. Right. So making this business model canvas will give you an idea what exactly your business is and give you a complete picture of your business. But you don't stop here, right? So the one of the major things in lean development is something known as agile development, right? So in agile development, what do? You create a minimum viable product. You do not create the final product. Like in case of Google Glass, they created the final product, loaded with features, and launched it in the market. You have already spent thousands and millions of dollars to create that product. But if you create a minimum viable product that can be launched into a market, and get customer feedback instantly, right? So you launch this product, get customer feedback instantly. If the customer says that there are changes required in this product, you make those changes, launch it again, get again the customer feedback, and then again launch the final product, right? So this way you're not investing your entire money, entire man hours into a single product, and therefore this minimum viable product, if it's not working, you can also shift to some other product. If it's not working for a certain segment, you can shift to different segment of consumers, right? So this is what is lean startups, and lean startups is one way through which you can really grow. It has been found that lean startups have less failures as compared to normal startup business, traditional model. So lean startups saves a lot of things. It saves time because you do not wait for launching your product. If you wait, there are other people also who are developing similar products. And then the second thing is that you do not have, you save money that you can use for other products. So giving an example, I will give you an example of one product known as Mimito. This was launched in Italy. When we talk about this product, there were two people who wanted to start up their business, and they thought that it would be great if they could launch this scooter in universities and offer sturdy electric scooters, because in their opinion, when they were in university, they were facing a lot of issue from going one place to other, for going to classes and so on. So they decided that we will have our target market as universities. They had 10 scooter models. They checked it out in universities, and they figured out that university students do not want it because they have fixed schedules. They already, for those fixed schedules, the public transport was available, which was pretty cheap as well, and students were comfortable with it. Now, since they had only launched their 10 scooter models, they still had money, and they still could change to different segments. And they finally figured out that the segment they could sell to is young professionals. And finally, the company was a success. Similarly, if we talk about Google Glass, if they would have followed a lean model and probably focused on moving step by step, just create the base model, get customer feedback, then make changes, they would have realized that the consumer that they were pitching to did not have the need for that product, but probably some other segment had a strong need for that product. And research is showing it. Research is showing that Google Glass could actually help autistic kids, which could have been a great segment for that product. So that's what I wanted to talk about. Thank you so much, guys, for listening to me.
Firstly, I would like to thank Dr. Naman Sreen for his amazing speech. He led us into some case studies which obviously warmed up the entire event. Now, moving on ahead, I would like to request Mr. Naman to share his email ID in the chat box for any queries that attendees might have. We would like to further invite Dr. Professor Pratik Ranjan Mungekar to share his views.
Hello, everyone. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible clearly.
Okay. So, I guess, the previous speakers have covered, the practical and theoretical approach. So, in today's discussion, I'm going to cover talent, technology, and trust. These are the cornerstones of Startup India. So, the key words for this startup ecosystem will have to be, however, talent, technology, and trust. Let me elaborate. So, as regards talent, I'm a great believer in Indian talent. Our erstwhile Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee used to say, India's future is in IT, namely IT as an information technology. So I also used to say, India's future is in IT, but IT as an Indian talent, and I'm proud to see such abundant talent in front of me here. Export competitiveness of India. Sometimes there was a discussion about what could be India's best export to the world. Someone critically remarked, without doubt, they are the IIT graduates, in other words. So he was saying that India is a great exporter of great talent. And how true this is. In recent times, we in India celebrated the appointment of Sundar Pichai as the CEO of Google. Earlier, we celebrated the appointment of Satya Nadella as the CEO of Microsoft. India believes in Satyam Shivam Sundaram. So we already have Satya and Sundar. Maybe now it is time to have Shiva as CEO of another global giant, maybe Apple, maybe IBM, or maybe Intel, who knows. So look at Silicon Valley, 16% is the share of the new ventures of the total that are started by the Indians in Silicon Valley. We are ahead of all other non-US nationalities. A question that we must ask ourselves is why do Indian genes so easily express in Silicon Valley? Or why can they not express in our own Indus Valley? So while we celebrate Satya and Sundar for their heading Microsoft and Google, should we as Indians not raise our ambition and ask as to when will we create the new Microsofts and Googles of the 21st century in India? But trust is the key. Someone asked me, aren't there Bill Gates in India? So I said, of course there are. But having a Bill Gates is one thing and creating a Microsoft is another thing. It requires an innovation ecosystem which trusts the young, takes risks, and indeed celebrates failure. So how were the seeds of Microsoft, which become a giant tree, sown? So, when there is one discussion with my guru, Dr. Raghunath Mashilkar, and he recalled Bill Gates narrating this story in an exclusive dinner come discussion with him. So Dr. Mashilkar was privileged to attend in New Delhi some years ago, and he then mentioned about the remarks that he had made at the Harvard University commencement in 2007. So after acknowledging the fact that he was the most successful dropout, Bill Gates was the most successful dropout from Harvard University, he said, one of my biggest memories of Harvard came in January 1975 when I made a call from courier house to a company in Albuquerque that had begun making the world's first personal computers. So I offered to sell them software. I worried that they would realize I was just a student in a dorm and would hang up on me. Instead, they said, we are not quite ready. Come see us in a month, which was a good thing because we had not written the software yet. So from that moment, I worked day and night on this little extra credit project that marked the end of my college education, and that was the beginning of a remarkable journey with Microsoft. So this experience, which Bill Gates shared with Dr. Mashilkar, tells you the importance of trust. The company in Albuquerque did not hang up the phone after a youngish voice and audacious offer of supplying software in those early days of personal computers. They trusted him. And look at the audacity of young Bill Gates, who offered the software that he did not have. Why? He did not have the software, but he had the trust in himself that he would deliver. Israel is called the startup nation. Israel is called a startup nation. This is because it is full of young people who have some audacity that Bill Gates had, and equally importantly, they have a courageous innovation ecosystem which just does not believe in venture capital, but in adventure capital. adventure capital. That adventuring is based solely on the trust of the young budding Israel technopreneurs. Can we build our India as a startup nation? So Startup India taking off. So in his inspiring independence speech, our Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced from the Red Fort the Startup and Startup Indian movement. Our Finance Minister was then quick to announce, rupees 2,000 crore Indian Aspiration Fund to fuel the India startup movement, and the idea to catalyze tens of thousands of crore of equity investment in startup and MSME, creating employment for lakhs of persons, mostly educated youth, over the next 4 to 5 years. And there is the announcement of the SIDBI Make in India Loan for Enterprises SMILE scheme, SMILE scheme, with an investment of 10,000 crore. So also at Innovation Mission and Atal Innovation Mission and Self-Employment and Talent Utilization, that is SETU, SETU, have been also launched, and they are meant to drive innovation and entrepreneurship in India that can result in widespread job growth and the creation of globally competitive enterprises. And there is already a lot of other good news. The Indian startup ecosystem seems to be really taking off. The numbers speak for themselves. From 3,100 startups in 2014 to a projection of more than 11,500 by 2022. So between these years, the infusion of venture capital and private equity-based funding increased from $13 million to $1818 million. Angel investment in the same period increased by 8 times from $4.2 million to $32.2 million. So research parks, enables and accelerators and incubators have to be set up in increasing numbers. The contribution by DST incubators and DBT, BIRAC program is massive in this. So there is a buzz in it. IITs also. I'm sure just I forgot, the IIT Madras Research Park is working with activities, and so are the other IITs also. So all this is matched by great dreams. NASCOM has come up with an ambitious initiative called 10,000 startups, aiming to scale up the startup ecosystem in India by 10x. So the program is supported by all these leading MNC companies like Microsoft, Google, Intel, Wasain, and Kocher. 10,000 startups aims to enable incubation, funding, and support for 10,000 startups in India over the next 10 years. So the program has been already able to successfully impact 150 plus technology startups, aiding in the raising of funds, acceptance and acceleration programs, found customers and onboarded members through the initiative. And the same vibrancy is seen across the country, from east to west and north to south. Bangalore, of course, being a leader. So, and this is about, Startup India. Next, I can tell you, getting the fundamental rights. For Startup India to take off, we must create an ambition and ambience. And for that, we have to get some fundamental rights. So the rightful ambience is created through a powerful national innovation ecosystem. The essential elements of such a national ecosystem comprises physical, intellectual, and cultural constructs. And beyond mere research labs, it includes idea incubators, technology parks, a conducive intellectual property rights regimen, balanced regulatory systems, strategically designed standards, academics who believe in not just publish or perish, but patent, publish, and prosper. So scientists who have the passion to become technopreneurs, potent inventor, investor engagement, adventure capital, and passionate innovation leaders. So, let me just take one of the issues, namely IPR, intellectual property rights, specifically patents as they pertain to startups. We must recognize that patents are valuable for startups. And the 2018 Berkeley study titled Patenting by Entrepreneurship, an empirical study, found that 67% of venture-backed startups reported that patents had been vital for them in securing investment. While 40% of all the startups held patents, 80% of those receiving venture capital investments own patents. So patents can ensure a startup's freedom to operate. Google is industry heavyweight that complains about patents today, but as a startup, back in 1998, Google deemed its seminal page rank patent number 6285999 so vital that it filed for it before it had a business plan, venture funding, or even a domain name, and then paid Stanford University, to which it had been assigned the patent, $336 million in shares to exclusively license it. So, as one analyst said that without the patents, Google would have been trampled by copycat search engine offering from Yahoo, Microsoft, and other big players who once dominated the market. So patents can help startups from joint venture and R&D partnerships. So according to 2014 National Science Foundation backed study, 49% of manufacturing and service firms use inventions obtained from external sources to develop their most important new product and services. So patents on those startup inventions serve as legal scaffolding around which joint ventures and R&D partnerships are constructed. And patents can help a startup defend itself against attacks by incumbent rivals, and patents can help a startup stop the theft of its innovations by larger rivals. So further, patents can help a startup rapidly increase in market share, and patent enhance the chance of startup getting acquired, and they can also help a startup get ready for an IPO also. The patent can help a startup launch $1 billion empire, as IP Folio chief executive Rupert Mayer recently observed. Patents have helped at least 10 major startup launch $1 billion empires. So this includes Dropbox network synchronization patent, Zygra's asynchronous challenge gaming patent, Square's patented system and method for and decoding swipe card signals, then GoPro's patented harness system for attaching a camera to a user, and of course Google's breathtakingly valuable original page rank patent. So with this, I would like to conclude with my gurus, Dr. Raghunath Mashelkar's 10 golden rules to success. My young friends and entrepreneurs, at the end, you will ask me what will it take us to succeed. So my Mashelkar gave me 10 golden rules, and here are these. So first, your aspirations are your possibilities. So keep your aspirations always high. We often complain about scarcity in India, but remember, the combination of scarcity and aspiration can create disruptive and game-changing innovations. Second mantra is, I strongly believe that there is no limit to human endurance, no limit to human achievement, and no limit to human imagination, accepting the limits you put on your mind yourself. So be limitless in terms of your imagination. Third is, there is no substitute to hard work for becoming successful. I have myself worked 24/7, week after week, month after month, year after year, and will do so till I take my last breath. So the golden rule is, work hard in silence, let success make the noise. Fourth, like instant coffee, there is no instant success. Your overnight success is always a result of everything that you have done through that moment. If you really look closely, most overnight success took a long time, as Steve Jobs famously said. Fifth, again about success. Please remember that success is no accident. It is hard work, perseverance, learning, studying, sacrifice, and most of all, love of what you are doing. As a legendary footballer Pele, who reached an ultimate pinnacle of success in life, had said this thing. Sixth is, it is wrong to wait for the opportunities to knock on your door. If opportunity does not knock, build a door. Seventh, remember, innovator is one who sees what everyone else sees, but thinks of what none else thinks. Indeed, if you master the art of visualizing the invisible, you can make even seemingly.
Dr. Mungekar, if you could just wrap it up a bit faster.
Yes, I'm just concluding.
Yeah.
The 8th, 9th, and 10th point, 3 points. 8th is continue to be creative. It does not get exhausted. The more you use creativity, the more you will have it. 9th point, when someone tells you that it cannot be done, take it that if it is more a reflection of his or her limitation, not yours. Remember, innovator is one who does not know that it cannot be done. And last, final point is, I have always said that in every Indian must, in I in every Indian must stand for innovation, not for inhibition and imitation. So indeed, remember, it is better to fail in originality than succeed in limitation. So thank you once again, and I would like to congratulate SK Associates and Group and Mr. Shravan for organizing this conference 1.8 and for inviting me, for having me here for this wonderful session. Thank you so much.
We would like to thank Dr. Prateek for his informative and knowledgeable speech, and I request him to share his mail ID in the comment box for any queries our attendees might have. Further, I would like to thank all our guests on the panel for making the first session of Conference 1.8 such a warm event with their views and insight. We would also like to thank all the attendees for patiently hearing us throughout the conference. We would like to request all the attendees to vote for today's best speaker by typing the name of your preferred guest speaker for the day in the chat box.
Faster attendees, just type out the name of your best or favorite guest speaker for today in the chat box. And yeah, no cheating like last time, only one guest speaker per person, one vote, one person. Okay, fast. Names in the chat box, fast. And yeah, there will be an opinion poll conducted in the conference groups too for the same purpose, but still names. We have 42 people in the meet. I'm expecting at least 40 votes. Faster. Yeah, there is it. Faster, faster, faster. Everyone. Come on, Divya. You could be a bit fast. Okay. Yeah. Okay. More, please. Come on. Do we have 40 votes, Digvijay, yet? Good. Bit more. We could do with 10 to 12 more votes. Faster, everyone. Great. I guess we can continue, Aruti.
Sure. Thank you, everyone. So the top 3 guests of Conference 1.8 shall be declared at the end of Conference 1.8. Now we shall return tomorrow with the second session of Conference 1.8. Until then, stay tuned and keep dreaming. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Good night.
Goodbye. Thank you.